had the opportunity to work with a photographer called S.J. van Sale. And I've known of him for years, but I haven't worked with him for a very long time. And we did a shoot for an older woman.
Okay.
And we stripped her back. And it was the most gratifying thing for her and for us. Those images were so beautiful. Taking off some lashes, taking a little volume down in the hair, making the makeup a little bit more neutral and natural. That for me was very satisfying.
And you're live on Dead Radio.
Welcome to another very special episode of Dead Radio with your boy Ini. And once again, we have a very, very special guest in the building, reporting live from the Dead Store. We're going to let our guest introduce herself, and then we're going to get into her life journey, and you know how we do. Extract those jewels for you guys to use in your everyday life. So without further ado.
Ini, thank you for that very kind intro. I'm Alex, and I am a makeup artist, and I have been doing this for 25 years.
Incredible.
Long, bruh.
Very long. You're from analog to digital to post-digital AI, which we'll obviously get into much further in the conversation. But
Sadly.
I think a great place to start our conversation is, how do you feel right now in this second?
Well, I feel very comfortable in this room with some very lacquer humans. And I'm feeling Joburg is just spectacular. It's got energy, it's got culture, it's got conversation, and I feel like Joburg is full of spirits. So I'm comfortable and happy.
I love that. So how I begin every Dead Radio episode is to predict the future. We have to go into the past. And to know who Alex is today, we have to start her book from page 1, right? So tell me about, where did Alex grow up? Tell me about her as a young girl running around, like those early days.
Cool. So I was born way back in the 70s, 1974. I grew up in Hillbrow.
Okay.
Hillbrow was magic. It really was. My dad worked at a sweet factory, namely Manhattan. I tasted the very first milk bottles that were ever produced.
Okay.
And my mom was actually a makeup artist, and she worked at a pharmacy down the road from where we lived in Hillbrow.
Okay.
So I grew up literally living, seeing, smelling makeup.
I hear that.
Yeah.
And you're live on Dead Radio.
Get the thumbs.
And you're live on Dead Radio.
And then eventually she moved to Studderfords in Sandton City. And I used to walk from school to Studderfords in Sandton City, and that's where I did my homework. So I was immediately intrigued by the colors, the textures, the smells, and how it could enhance someone's beauty.
Interesting. At that time, while you're obviously subconsciously absorbing this art form that your mom has taken up as a profession.
Yes.
Did you know that this would be a career path for you, or it was just something that your mom did?
I actually thought I was going to be a television presenter.
Interesting. Okay.
And then I went to Nadia Bilchik's School of TV, and it just wasn't me. I also studied travel and tourism, and I did fashion marketing and retail. And actually, I did a friend's makeup and they said, "Oh, why don't you like take this up as a career?" And I just never actually thought it could be a career. I didn't want to be in retail. I saw how hard my mom worked, the hours, not enough money. She did get to travel, but I wanted to specifically get into fashion and beauty.
Interesting.
And I met my husband. My husband's in the industry.
Okay.
He paid for me to do a makeup course as a gift.
That's amazing.
And they actually owned an agency back in the day called Professional Bookings.
Okay.
And I joined the company as soon as I finished as a freelance makeup artist.
Okay. So from after going to school, then you joined them in the agency.
So, no, I still did the marketing. I was also waitressing.
A bit of this, a bit of that.
Bit of that, yeah.
I hear that.
Loved waitressing, actually. It was such a joy.
I hear that.
But yeah, and so I studied makeup. I met my husband. We got married when I was 24, so from the age of 24.
That's when you entered the industry.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about those first early jobs. Obviously, you had the knowledge, mostly in theory, because you had gone to school for it, right? But then, as we know, theory and practicality are worlds apart, right? So tell me about those first early shoots, being on set. I'm sure you were like very nervous.
My very first shoot was all the way in Pretoria. It's a little bit of a Sandton girl.
I hear that.
I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to drive all the way to Pretoria. So I made my husband drive me all the way to Pretoria to see where my location was the night before. We didn't have GPS then. We had map books.
Yes, and garages.
That's it.
Yeah.
So what I used to do is, and I also went to shoot with like my big handbag on my shoulder. I didn't know what a standby bag was, all that stuff. I thought it was all glamorous, and it's actually not.
Course.
It's a lot of hard work. But going back to traveling, the night before, because you go to page 1 on the map book, then you got to go page 26, I would do post-its and stick them on my steering wheel. And then as I did one part, I'd take it off. The next part, I'd take it off.
Wow.
And then, when I got my very first pink Garmin, that just made life a lot easier.
That changed
now with cell
everything.
phones, it's,
I understand.
Yeah.
Oh man, it must have been so
very archaic.
tricky. But I'm sure you gained a lot of practical experience that a lot of people in this digital AI world definitely would overlook.
So I think, yes, back then, there wasn't Photoshop like we have today. There weren't any filters. You literally had to perform your absolute best, skin matching, chat to the photographer if there was a bit of a pimple that, you can't always get rid of a raised area.
Yeah.
You can only cover it. Chat to the photographers and the art directors about those kind of things. And you had to deliver what was asked because there was nothing that really could be fixed behind the scenes.
I get that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was a lot harder then than it is now.
Now,
yeah,
I hear that. Analog versus digital. I love that. And then tell me about how you start building your name in the industry. Is that through the different sets you'd be to? Like, how do you actually start carving out a lane for yourself and people start being like, oh, yes, Alex, she's a great makeup artist? Like, how does that happen?
So I think it's a bit of both. What we would say, it's like admin and creativity.
Yes.
I think it's very important to be professional on set.
Of course.
Be present on set. Also be able to make people feel comfortable in your chair. And also to let the client know that they're the boss. You can give your 2 cents.
Yes.
And often they'll take it, But don't always poo-poo their ideas.
Yeah.
You've got to listen to the clients. And then creating your own hand, your own flair,
Yes.
where your work becomes recognizable. And then we all makeup artists have different gifts
Yes.
and different talents, and then that's why the client will book you.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Makeup is such a interesting space, right? And I'm always interested how all these different departments come together, right? From your department to styling, to the photographers, to the art directors. How have you found a way to balance your creative voice in a room full of other creative voices? Because I know it can be tricky, although you guys all have one goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, how have you managed those situations?
So I think that sometimes there is a moment where, as a makeup artist, you've got to step back. If there is a lot going on, and you have a conversation with the art director, the stylist, the director, the hairstylist, and see what route they're going, maybe you have to say, okay, well, this shoot, it's all about skin.
Yes, yes,
And just
yes,
carving
yes,
out skin.
yes, yes.
And hopefully we all come to an agreement. So it's definitely a conversation
Yeah.
amongst many, putting your ideas in the pot. And if somebody says, what about this? Say, okay, cool, that's actually a really great idea. Or maybe it'll be too much, or can we do a little bit more? So it's definitely, it's teamwork.
I hear that. I hear
Teamwork.
that. I hear that.
And then also not always, it doesn't, a good skin shot can speak as much as a wild, crazy shot. So knowing the balance between when to go wild and when not to go wild.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I'm now interested in the technical elements of your art form, right? And obviously, 8 billion people, we all have different skins, maybe similar tones, but how do you actually get better at being a makeup artist? Like, is it something you'd spend over the weekend, call your friends over and like doll up their faces? Like, what's the process?
100%. In the beginning, the amount of work I did for free was it was insurmountable. But when you do it for free, when you make a mistake, it doesn't matter other than the fact that you are learning from it. So never negate the facts. Eventually you will be rewarded. Yes, and call in a friend. Shame, I remember having my cousin in a fur coat in the Bryanston forest with green eyeshadow on, us taking photos on our Polaroid camera. It was do all of that stuff and really study that image and see where you went wrong and where you went right. Remember what you did well and make notes on that and throw away the stuff that you did badly.
I hear that. I think we're living in a time where there are so many freelancers, right? I'll speak specifically just about makeup. And I know you're represented by like Lamppost, right? And I believe you've lived and existed in both worlds, the freelance world and the, I don't know what to call, the represented world, I guess, if I can call it that. What did you learn about tips from being a freelancer? Because a lot of people aren't represented by establishments like Lamppost. So what were some of those lessons you learned about being a freelancer?
So firstly, save your money.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Save your money.
That's a big one.
And it really is, if you are not represented by an agency, it really is having confidence to approach other makeup artists to work with. Approach companies and clients and say, listen, I'm new in the industry. I can maybe do 1 or 2 shoots for you for free, see how my work is. Go and offer yourself up. Also, approach model agencies. They're always needing test shoots for their models. And that way you get to learn beautiful, clean makeup. That for me it's vital to know the no makeup. That's what makeup artists have got to practice most.
I hear that.
And that's what takes the longest. So practice that, approach people, have confidence to work with other makeup artists and learn from them. Don't always be stuck on the rules. Break the rules sometimes.
Okay.
You do need to learn the technical stuff.
Yes.
But
yes.
once you've learned the technical stuff, you can start breaking the rules.
You can learn the basics and then build on top
100%.
of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
basics. I completely understand that. And then I want to talk about being represented, right? Is that advice you would give to a up-and-coming makeup artist? Build your portfolio and then find representation, or can you make it?
You know,
As a
it's
freelancer.
either or
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
My admin really stinks. So if chasing the money it's really, really hard for me. I have to say Lamppost is amazing.
Of course.
They are,
We had Jody here last week.
yeah, they really do, like they advertise their artists. They really do. That being said, you know, within an agency, you can't have too many.
Yes,
Because there's
of
only
course.
certain amounts of work that comes in.
Of course, of course.
But if you can get in, get in. If you can't, you can find a way.
I hear that. In your journey, right, was there a moment where it hit you where you're like, okay, this chosen profession of mine is actually working? Like I'm actually making a difference? Like, was there a shoot or a campaign that you worked on where you're like, yeah, this is actually starting to work out?
So, yeah, I mean, I think my very first fashion editorial that I did back in the day, there was FHM. And I used to work with Chris Viljoen and Kirsty Stoltz.
I miss magazines.
I know.
I miss magazines.
I know. And then when you like opened up a magazine and you saw your work, it was like, and that sat on the shelf for a very long time. Whereas now you scroll and you scroll past it. So I go back sometimes on my Instagram and I like, oh, that shoot is so far away.
Yeah.
It's now gone. Whereas if the magazine, it would have still been there. It
That's
lived
true.
forever.
That's true.
And then you could really like, should have done that.
I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah, so I think for my very first fashion editorial, and I have to say now, I had the opportunity to work with a photographer called S.J. van Sale. And I've known of him for years, but I haven't worked with him for a very long time. And we did a shoot for an older woman.
Okay.
And we stripped her back. And it was the most gratifying thing for her and for us. Those images were so beautiful. Taking off some lashes, taking a little volume down in the hair, making the makeup a little bit more neutral and natural. That for me was very satisfying.
I hear that. I hear that. I love that. Wow, 25 years. Have there been moments where you wanted to give up and you were like,
Oh, very often.
once a week?
Very often. Yeah. You know, I'm 51 now. Going on to set at 4 o'clock in the morning, in the middle of town, in the middle of winter, it's a little bit more difficult than it was when I was in my late 20s and early 30s.
I hear that.
But that being said, would I do anything else? Oh, I don't know. I don't think so.
This is the path. And I always wonder about art forms like makeup, right? Creative occupations, jobs, skill sets. As long as your brain still functions, you don't necessarily have to retire. Do you think about retiring in your chosen field?
I look at maybe changing what I do to have more, to create more income within what I do, but still remaining in the creative space that is fashion and beauty as well. So maybe just extending the arm a little bit. No, I mean, look at Val Garland. She's still very relative.
That's true. That's true.
You can totally remain that as long as you keep looking at social media, keep looking at what's happening in the fashion world, staying ahead of the trends, knowing what's happening. Things change and evolve. You have got to walk hand in hand with your 25-year-olds to learn from them to keep you relative in the industry.
I understand. I understand. You spoke now just about being ahead of the curve, understanding the trends, seeing them before they reach. How do you actually stay, on a practical sense, how do you actually keep in touch with the world of makeup globally, trend forecasting? Like, is that something Instagram? Like, are you on Instagram? Are you talking to people younger than you? Like, how do you actually stay on the pulse of what's happening?
Definitely. It's who you follow on Instagram, it's who you follow on TikTok. And definitely you've got to follow makeup artists that work within fashion and beauty. You've got to know who the relatable fashion designers are, who's at the forefront. Africa at the moment. You've got to look at Africa. Creating our own flavor. Don't only look to Europe. So you've got to keep a good balance between what's happening out there and within our continents.
I hear that. I hear that. Interesting. Yeah. Just to understand where the world is going and to stay ahead of the curve.
At the end of the day, I'm selling to a South African. That's my clients.
I hear that.
Africa's my clients.
I hear that.
So I've got to satisfy Africans.
While still being in the know of.
Absolutely. You are in the know there. But I must urge other makeup artists to follow makeup artists that work. If you want to work in this industry, hats off to Instagram makeup artists. They teach us amazing tricks and tips and whatever. But for relativity, for our craft, seek out your fashion and beauty makeup artists, your Issa Maya Frenches, your Pat McGrath, your Danessa Myricks. Know who all the people are globally.
Yeah. Know the players in the game before you start playing the game. Now, you've been working in this industry for 25 years, right? Incredible. Congratulations, by the way. Most people won't even make it to 10 years. Most people won't even make it to 10 years. But since you're 25 years in, you've definitely seen technology change, the makeup, the access to makeup. What are some of the highlights that you've seen going from analog? Obviously, we spoke about magazines. Magazines were huge. They had very big budgets. I don't know now because the magazine of today is Instagram. But what are some of those changes? I mean, even today, something like your following online can get you a job, whether or not you have an actual portfolio and have worked with brands. But what are some of those major things you've seen just change over the last 25 years?
I mean, I used to carry around a huge leather-bound book. What was great about those days is that I actually had to go meet the art buyers. You had meetings with people. You had one-on-ones. They could, sometimes personality is also a very big thing on set.
That's true.
And then they'd page through your book, and then you'd walk away and hopefully they'd book you again. Now there is easy access to your portfolio online, which you don't really get to meet the clients anymore beforehand.
That's true.
So I think that's a huge difference. I mean, I also remember I used to work on a TV show called Strictly Come Dancing, and I think the first few seasons was analog, and then we went to HD.
Yes.
I used to phone my husband and was like, Stuart, it's HD tonight. Please check their skin. Is everything okay? I literally, it was a very nerve-wracking. It was very nerve-wracking. What else has changed? So I'm not technologically savvy. The bonus for the young kids now, they're coming into a world of technology. I'm kind of like, have to learn it.
Yeah.
They're kind of like born with it.
I hear that.
So for me, that's very nerve-wracking. So I'm still a pen and paper. I do my presentations on my phone.
I love that.
There's quite vast differences, and even makeup
Yes.
has changed.
Yes.
When I started makeup, do you know that we didn't have makeup for black skin? There was only one company that provided it.
That's crazy.
There was no MAC.
25 years ago.
25 years ago. We could only get dark skin makeup, even like cappuccino skin makeup from Crayolan. And that I will still support them to this day because of that. And then eventually,
then it opened up.
And I think that was quite a global thing, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think that all the big brands actually offered very dark skin tones back then either.
So the world has completely changed, basically.
Changed.
I hear that. While we're speaking on change, probably the most disruptive technology that's been introduced in recent memory outside of the internet is AI, right? What's your view? What's your POV on, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? What's just your perspective on how it's changing your space? Loaded question, I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough for all of us because as AI gets perfected, the more and more real it's going to look. My thing is, do I want to buy a makeup product that is sold by an AI-generated somebody? I don't know if that's really real. That being said, how honest is an influencer?
That's true.
So we're sitting in a space now where how much is real and how much isn't real. Everything's got a filter. When I sit with my husband, he goes, "Oh my gosh, love, look at this," and I go, "Love, it's AI.
It's not real.
It's not real." And he goes, "No, you're lying." And it is. So a lot of people are going to buy into it. It's a worrying thing for our industry. So we're going to have to start like makeup artists
and figure it out.
Focused on one-on-ones, do your occasions, do your weddings, do your matric dances, because I don't know if I think the photo shoots will still happen.
Yeah.
I think it's more moving camera that's going to become a problem.
That's true. Yeah. The ground is shifting for everyone, like creative field, lawyers. Like I was watching a video and this guy basically called his lawyer and then gave out his lawyer, "Okay, I'm dealing with this issue. What's your legal advice?" And then he typed the prompt into ChatGPT and it literally gave him the same answer.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is interesting.
It is. I mean, a lot of doctors now,
Yeah.
they're even going on to ChatGPT and the answers are there. It's very, very scary. We are moving into a world where I always say to my daughter that movie Wall-E is not too far away.
We're not too far from it at all. But yeah, I just wanted to get your perspective on it. It's something we can't avoid, literally, all of us.
No, we can't.
It's here.
And unfortunately, they're tough times. So, like even big brands are going to be penny wise and pound foolish. They're buying into buying models, rendering them in AI, paying them out for a couple of seasons to use their face and their body, whatever. They don't have to book a photographer. They don't have to have a location.
Literally.
It
is
tough.
what it
They
is,
don't need a
right?
makeup artist. They don't need a stylist.
Soon they won't need humans. Like literally.
Exactly.
Crazy. I want to get into some practical advice, right? Say Alex wasn't 51 and she was 18 in 2025. But she wanted to go down the path of working in the makeup industry or the creative fashion makeup industry. What are the steps you would take to start building a name for yourself, start building relationships? Yeah.
I mean, it basically would have been done what I did 25 years ago. Approach model agencies, approach other makeup artists, start playing with subjects in front of a camera, get a team together, conceptualize a shoot. I know when you come out of makeup school, you want to practice as much creativity as possible and create these like wow shoots. But sellable stuff is your clean stuff. So start off there. That's going to get you advertising work. Once you've got the advertising work, you're making a bit of money and you can go into fashion. Unfortunately, fashion, there's no money. You do it for the love and you do it for the passion. It's for your creative outlet. So start by building. Skin's important. It's the most important thing. Being able to carve out skin with using a foundation, a mascara, and 2 or 3 key products. Do that. Start practicing. I used to practice eyebrows on my knees.
Interesting.
At night in front of TV.
Okay.
Practice your eyebrows. And look at the trends and stay within the trends. Like, I've had to get around, like, it's not always about what you feel is beautiful.
Yes.
You've got to learn the stuff that's happening as well. And then your eye starts to change and train itself to being current.
I completely hear that. Wow.
Otherwise, I'd be doing blue eyeshadow on everyone.
It would literally be the same thing. What other art forms inspire your art form? Because I know how art is one big thing. There's just different rooms in this house of art, right? But what other mediums of art inspire what you do? Outside of makeup, obviously.
So anything literally inspires me. I'm very inspired by color. I mean, your shirt would be a beautiful, that inspires me.
I understand.
A sweet wrapper can inspire you. A plant can inspire you. It's whatever catches your eye, and then you try and to put it into practice in makeup. And you can take one little element from that and use it on a face.
I hear that. When you have a client sitting in front of you, what's the first thing that you notice about the person? Are there things that
I look
eyebrows?
at their makeup.
Okay.
I do. I look at their makeup and then I think to myself, You briefing me? No, I'm only joking. Scrap that. No, you know what? The client for me is, they know what they want. And I'm there to deliver what they want. And yes, you can offer advice and you can offer your little pearls, but it is literally, you've got to satisfy the clients.
It's about them,
It's
not
about them,
you.
it's not about me. You just know that you're going to walk on some sets and they're going to give you an idea and you may not love it. Just follow through. And that is the sign of a really good makeup artist. If you're argumentative with something that they want you to deliver, it might be because you don't know how to do it. Rather be honest.
Rather just
That's
be
why it's
honest
also very
about it.
important to get a brief before.
Read it front to back, back to front, so you
Exactly.
understand. I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
understand. Very interesting. How do you feel about mentorship? Like, because I know there's a lot of young girls who are like makeup artists but are learning online. How do you feel about helping the next generation or picking out specific people who you think have talent? Like, what's your just perspective on succession planning, helping the next generation?
So I'm always up for it. Believe it or not, I'm not a very good leader.
Interesting.
Although, like I've HOD'd a lot of fashion shows and a lot of people say that I am, I just feel like I'm, that's me thing. I feel like I'm not.
Yeah.
I feel like when I go on set, I'm learning on every single set. So how can I mentor even when I'm still learning?
I understand. I love that though. Like, you're forever a student.
Forever. I will always learn. I feel like the young kids could mentor me.
Remain teachable.
Yes, always remain teachable. We must never be a star.
I hear that. Are there any dream projects you would love to work on? This is us now dreaming. Are there projects, maybe a brand that you'd love to work with, maybe a movie from the past that you would have loved to have been the makeup artist on? But are there dream projects that you haven't been able to reach?
Sure. I mean, to go work at Paris Fashion Week, that would be the absolute dream. If you just see what came out of Paris Fashion Week now, it was unbelievable. It was simply loud. And that's my take on fashion and beauty. So that would be my ultimate work on very big shows at Paris Fashion Week.
I hear that. Paris Fashion Week is still the peak of fashion and beauty? Even in 2025? I mean, globally, I think people still do believe that.
I think it is
asking.
I think it is one of the big ones. Yeah, but also, I mean, I feel like Africa. I feel like Africa needs to have an Africa Fashion Week. Like, I know there is AFI, but I believe that more brands that are neighboring over the borders, if they all came together, it would be a spectacular feast for the eyes.
I hear that. I hear that. And I guess we're speaking it out into existence.
Yeah.
Hopefully the right people will hear this and
Money.
yeah, that's always the thing, right? But the brands have the money, but the brands are like, will it make sense for us to invest in this, right?
We need a
So-
standard bank.
That's true. Yeah, Standard Bank,
Standard,
FNB.
FNB, any of the banks. I
Yeah.
think they could. Standard
You're
Bank
right.
is already involved in a lot of like stuff in the arts.
Yeah, true.
You look at the art fair and all of that. I think if there was money and somebody could curate shows where we brought designers from all over Africa together, it would be, and I think we would attract the whole of Europe.
That's true. That's true. I mean, they're already
And New York.
looking. Yeah, they're already looking into Africa and taking things.
We've innovated fashion, let me tell you.
That's true.
We always looked to Europe, and then you got Rich, Tebe, Muso Maxwell. They started creating their own vision, and it's been snapped up overseas.
That's true. That's true. That's true. We're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, we are.
Step by step. As we wind down the conversation, right? What's your last piece of advice to the dreamers out there? Maybe someone who wants to go into makeup or wants to go into fashion or beauty or the arts.
Okay.
What's your last piece of advice to that person?
It's obtainable. But just know sometimes there's no reward and sometimes there is reward. You have to slog and be prepared to go from bottom to top. Always be open to learn. When a makeup artist gives you the freedom to paint a face and they say, don't do this or you would prefer that, it's constructive criticism. Never ever feel personally attacked. You are learning from that moment. And practice makes perfect. And the most important thing is to research. Research, research, research. It's very, very important. Break the rules. And less is more.
Less is more. I love that. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
This was amazing. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back with another episode of Dead Radio.